Hello comrades, this is General Luigi, and welcome to Let's Play Fire Emblem Awakening. So, when we left off, we had unlocked a new paralog, but we are not going to handle that just yet. It's kind of a nasty mission if you're not prepared for it, and I think we should deal with this one first. But first, we have support conversations to watch. Yeah, I know, after the last episode, you're probably going to be a bit annoyed by that. But let's go ahead and watch them. Every bit counts, after all.
Really?
Huh?
So, what seems to be the problem, Lissa? Would anyone sigh for the sheer joy of it? You are a princess, are you not?
Right.
Hey.
Oh. Well, Crom doesn't worry about that too much, so I don't think you'll hear anything from him on the matter. But, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from, Lissa. People do kind of expect politicians and nobles to
What?
do certain things that are expected of them. That was kind of a roundabout sentence there. But, well, give it a little thought. Ordinary person spends a little time going on a vacation to Hawaii, no one bats an eye. President goes on vacation to Hawaii, all of a sudden people are cursing his name. So, yeah, I can understand Lissa wanting to live up to her title. Alright, so now we have a conversation with Kellum. Specifically, we need to investigate something.
Sorry.
So-called ghost. Truth be told, with how much trouble people have spotting Kellum, wouldn't be surprised if he was the cause of it.
Okay.
Then again, it's kind of a silly thing to think about. I mean, really. Kellum is in a huge suit of armor. Can you imagine how noisy that thing must be?
Huh?
Not to mention how noticeable it is.
Okay.
Yet somehow, Kellum manages to not be seen doing these things or heard.
If you say so. I see.
As absurd as that is.
Hell no!
That sounds like something an old friend of mine would say. She always called me a wimp.
What in the...
Yet I still ended up falling in love with her. She didn't feel the same way, though, so we just stayed friends. Before you ask about those names, no, one did not kill the other.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, having good soldiers is nice, Sully.
Nah.
Although having good numbers also helps. I definitely hear you there, Stahl. Sully. It's astonishing how much these two remind me of me and that friend of mine. I'm not gonna name her simply because I don't know if she would want me to. And again, I don't think I would ever take up arms to fight for my country to begin with. I mean no disrespect to my country. I love my country, it's just... I don't think I could ever bring myself to harm someone. I keep the violence reserved for video games. Alright, and now we get to see what Sully has to say to Muriel. Just the girl
What?
you wanted to see?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's just me, but Muriel strikes me as a bit old to be deserving of the title of girl. Then again, I'm not exactly an expert on distinguishing between girls and women, at least when it comes to what to refer to them as. If someone looks over 18, I will refer to her as a... I'm sorry, doorbell. I will be right back. Sorry about that. As I was saying, if someone looks over 18, I will address her as a woman simply because legally she's an adult and, well, if someone female looks over 18, I will refer to her as a woman. Legally, she's an adult after all, and I just feel it's more respectful, although I know youth is also highly valued in women these days, so I can understand why some might prefer being called girls.
Fascinating.
Truth be told, though, I imagine it differs from person to person. Some people might prefer to be called in the instant they turn 18. Others might insist on being called girls even after they're 30. But I digress. Let's move on to another conversation.
Right.
Why would he carry a blade? He's an archer. Sorry, thought I heard something.
Really? Forgive me.
Well, something tells me you were just gonna go on and on about it, Virion. That is a good question.
Yes.
Oh? Of course! Why else would he have such a blade? Friendship.
Explain.
Right. Funny how Virion's womanizing capabilities are always only mentioned. We never actually get to see them in-game. Envy. Maybe it's just me, Virion, but I don't think your position is something I would envy. Acted the gentleman. Probably just my modern perspective speaking, but I don't think any gentleman would be carrying out those kinds of affairs, shall we say. Again, probably just my modern perspective. Personally, I think Virion is only someone who meets the anatomical criteria for the title of gentleman. But, again, probably just because of his womanizing habits. Might be perfectly fitting for the title of gentleman back then. Assuming it existed in medieval times. Alright, and now, Stahl and Muriel.
Hold a moment.
Some sort of exercise, apparently. It would be nice if these cutscenes were animated, just so we could... These support conversations were animated, just so we could actually see what them are doing. Excuse me? Yeah, muscle memory. I definitely have been screwed over by that on more than one occasion. For example, the 3DS I am currently holding. The A button is on the right. The B button is at the bottom. Well, of that little diamond of buttons on the right side. The problem, of course, is that the Vita has the circle button on the right and the X button on the bottom. And the downside of that is that with the Vita, X is yes, circle is no. With the 3DS, A is yes, B is no. What this means is that when I switch from one platform to the other, I sometimes hit the yes button when I mean the no button. On more than one occasion, I've hit B because I've been used to hitting X to say yes. And sometimes I've hit circle because I'm used to hitting A to say yes.
Very gracious of you.
It'd be nice if the two companies just organized their buttons the same way. Alright, so that's enough of support conversations. It is time to actually carry out the mission. Nice castle.
Forgive me.
Bit big, though.
Good.
Like the blue carpet. So, the Khan, huh? Yes, I pronounced that correctly.
Right.
It's taken from an Altaic word. And that's how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Am I now?
Hmm? You are the ruler, I presume?
Exactly.
Well, hang on. If you're a woman, wouldn't your title be Khatan instead of Khan? Wouldn't be surprised if the developers weren't aware of that distinction.
Thank you.
Of course, I know in some languages it would be Khatun or even Khanum. What? This is the first I've heard of that, Crom.
Right.
Crom?
Right.
Okay, Pledgian forces. Yeah, that's smart. Bring along incriminating evidence when you raid a place. Especially when it's a false flag operation. Crom. This is Ferox, remember? Jeez. I'm surprised I caught on to that more quickly than you did. That might be overdoing it. Wait, what? You don't have a personal retinue or something you could provide? Well, that's probably asking too much.
What?
Yeah, what Crom said.
Listen.
Well, what he asked. Okay. Wow, that is a brilliant system for deciding who is in power. We should adopt that here in the United States. Have a baseball game every 4 years. Whichever her party's team wins gets control of Congress, the White House, and the Supreme Court. But then again, if we adopted that, we would have to account for third parties, which would raise the possibility of, say, the American Socialist Party gaining control of the government, or the American National Socialist Party gaining control. Yes, they actually exist.
Listen.
Of course, we all know that if such a system were adopted, the Democrats and Republicans would still be in control. They'd have the most money, so they'd just be able to hire the best baseball players. So it would always be a matter of those two winning. Then again, with baseball, there's always a slim chance of the underdog coming out on top. Anyway. Yeah, absolutely brilliant way of deciding who is in charge, Flavia. Well, Crom? My thoughts exactly.
Right.
Yeah, a tournament in which people die. Lovely. Well, I suppose it's better than the two Khans going to war every few years to decide who is in charge.
It's all right.
Still, I would think there are better ways to decide who's in charge than a tournament in which people might die. Anyway, I will be back in a moment once I've gotten everyone organized. Alright. Oh, who have we? Marth? So, you're representing the West Khan, I presume. Typical. No answer.
Where did you get that? There's no way. taught you to fight like that?
My father!
And all of a sudden, they're on separate sides of the arena again. Alright, and yes, this is when we're formally introduced to the collective range function. Just hit the X button, you can see everyone's range. Alright, and we don't want to split our forces here. It's doable, but it's risky. Alright, so we'll go ahead and put Crom here. Alright, little experience boost. I'm certainly not complaining. We want to make sure that the enemy doesn't have a chance to swarm us. And that was rather unfortunate. Oh well, experience for Lissa and Sumiya thanks to that dual strike. Still would have preferred for Sumiya to be the one in front. Bit too risky, though. At this point, she's best reserved for finishing blows and dual strikes. Speaking of finishing people... Lean. Well, actually, as a Pegasus Knight, Sumiya will do quite well against a mage. Perfect!
You can do this.
That mage is dead. Or at least wounded. It's never made entirely clear whether these guys are killed or just flat out wounded. And we get a level. Always nice. You've been making progress, Sumiya. Be patient. Alright, time for Lissa to do her thing. Alright, I'll go ahead and break out the sword. That way this guy will have a disadvantage against me. Admittedly, he was already headed in my direction, so I probably could have just stuck with magic. And waited for him to get closer, then I would have dealt the first strike. Ah well. Bit late for that now, huh? What can we do with the javelin? There is a small risk there. Let's see what we can do do about this guy first. Alright.
I can help.
Excuse me. Now, no dual strike. Well, does mean Sumiya can deal the finishing blow. And with the javelin, for that matter. I know those knights don't have enough range to hit her, so it'll just be the mage who can get at her. And that's assuming the mage attacks her to begin with. It's entirely possible the mage will hit me instead. I am within range, right? Yeah. Alright. What now? Okay.
Careful.
Oh, because there's a chance of a critical hit if he attacks me. Didn't help him, however. I forget, have we even seen a critical hit in this Let's Play yet? Blast it. We're gonna get swarmed, which is exactly what I did not want to happen. Alright. Let's see what we can pull off. Mage is out of the way, so now it's a matter of the physical fighters. Alright, Sumiya is only vulnerable. Is only in danger of being hit by this guy. Yeah. Alright. Vake. Don't screw this up. Time to put that hammer to good use.
Anyone else?
Alright. And he'll be just fine against that fighter. The Vake just got a lot vaker. Didn't know your name was an adjective. Okay, and we'll keep myself just out of range. Alright, exactly what I wanted. Now the Vake can attack from those stairs. Oh, but he kind of needs healing, doesn't he? How far can this guy reach? Too far. What can I do? Enough. Here's hoping we get critical, although I'm not betting on it. Dual strike? Nope. Right. I can just bring everyone else over here. Yeah, this guy can't hit there, and neither can the fighter. Sumiya, care to hurt this guy?
You can do this.
Kind of risky, I know. But I had a contingency prepared for the worst case scenario. And Sumiya leveled up, so that's always nice. And this also gives me an opportunity to have Lissa do some more healing. Not a lot of HP to heal, but again, every bit counts. Alright, so we made it out of this mess. Right, and because knights are so slow, usually, we even get a dual strike out of the deal. Dual strike. We even get 2 hits out of the deal, that's what I meant to say. Okay. Perfect. Just enough damage. And it's accurate enough for a guaranteed hit. Perfect.
That was close.
This is working out quite nicely, although now that I've said that, how much you want to bet someone's going to get killed? Well, defeated. This might be the guy to do the job. Well, thankfully, Kellen provides me with some nice defense, so I'm not in too much danger. What can the Vake do? Too risky. We'll just have him equip the Iron Axe and stay where he is. Alright, that's kind of what I expected. Can't counterattack. Alright. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll be fine. Jinxing it. Nope, not this time. Alright. Well, that's why I had these guys. Alright, and now it's time to deal with Martha. Well, first we want to get everyone over to that other sparkling space. And also just keep the party close together. We want to lure Marth out. That way everyone else can retreat if necessary. Perfect. And Marth didn't move. Exactly what I wanted. Okay. Crom is kind of hurt. So we'll hold off on attacking for now. There we go. And that's the last of that heal staff. Thankfully, we bought another one between missions. Excuse me! Alright. Maybe one of the enemies? One of the knights, probably. It's never made entirely clear where these things come from.
Hey.
Oh, crap.
My apologies.
Marth has a 2% chance of a critical hit. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, no critical. I can live with that. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, and that's something I should point out. With some bosses, certain units will get a special conversation with them before fighting. Alright. So, is Crom accurate enough to take out, trying to deal the final blow? With the rapier, he is. Sure. I almost never use it. Well, actually, Sumiya needs the experience more. Actually, Lissa could use a little healing experience first. Oh boy. I am so screwed if Sumiya misses, aren't I? Well, can she miss? She cannot. And sure, since Marth only has one hit point, don't need to worry about a counterattack. Alright. That is the end of that fight. And you know, Crom, thinking about it, isn't Marth's father named Cornelius? Sumiya, you just defeated Marth. You can do plenty right. As you can plainly see, Sumiya isn't particularly confident. Still, we won!
Very nice.
Glad we could be of help, I think. You are fit to rule, right? I mean, this system doesn't strike me as ideal for making sure good people are in charge. Ah, well. We got what we needed. Well, we got what we came for. And who might you be?
Yes?
Basilio. Don Basilio? I take it you're through with that matchmaking business. Not that I blame you after that whole matter with that doctor. What was his name again? I'm drawing a blank. Dr. Balordo? No, that wasn't it. Dr. Bertoldo. No, that... Who would name themselves Bertoldo? Barbaro. That would make sense, given the barbarian state we're in. No. No, that wouldn't work either. Dr. Bartolo. How could I have forgotten that? 1,000 points to anyone who got that reference.
Yes. Hey.
Oh? And what would that present be? A person? A person qualifies as a present? Does this place practice slavery?
All right.
Interesting way of introducing him. Oh? Maybe you'd like to test that, Crom? That is a good question. And again, Marth could have easily defeated Crom, too, if it weren't for our allies. I mean, Sumiya, me, Kellum, Lissa. Pretty much the only person who didn't play a part in well, no, even the Vake did, albeit indirectly. Yeah, what did she say? Oh. Well, yeah, I've met people like that. Really? Well, thank you. Although, since Flavia is now in charge, I imagine West Ferox will be contributing a lot more.
All right. Listen.
How blunt.
Good.
So, back to Elistal. After we save, of course. So, we have our troops.
Oh.
Hopefully it won't come to war, however. Excuse me. I always hate these little interruption bits. They never really carry the right sense of urgency. You always have to wait for that text box to show up, and you know the interruption is coming beforehand.
Right away.
They haven't even declared war! What? So he responded to that claim by invading and abducting someone, rather than sending a diplomat over to discuss the matter.
Gods!
Is this normal on this continent?
Enough.
Still.
Point taken, lady. I understand, Crom, but I do agree with Emmerin. We have to approach this matter calmly. We need to see if we can at least avoid a war. Right, you're gonna have to tell me about that one of these days, Crom.
I will
That
offer
last
pardon.
conflict. Gotta at least try, Lissa.
Please reconsider.
War should always be a last resort, never a first one.
Very well.
Yeah, that doesn't mean we should go in completely unarmed, though. I mean, the Exalt herself going to meet with a hostile country? Yeah, that's kind of risky. So, it's off to Plegia, apparently. Tomorrow, that is to say.
Are you ready?
Oh,
Oh, hey!
another shepherd, I presume? Not old enough? He doesn't look any older than any younger than Lissa. Then again, the names. The game's never entirely clear about how old everyone is. So we just have to make our best guess. Not that the art style helps with that. Still, I will admit he does look rather young. Doesn't mean he's incompetent, however. Young people seem to be naturally capable fighters in this kind of setting. So, time to see if we can secure a deal to rescue Maribel. But not in this episode. I will see you next time.